Today I'm going to talk about two big problems that I have with life in this realm. You've heard me talk a lot about suffering. I don't think that suffering builds character. I mean, yes, you can build character through suffering, but I don't think we suffer so that we can build character. One thing that you must realize about humans is that we can learn from anything. You can go through hell and learn a lot, not because you were supposed to learn, but because you chose to learn or you were capable of learning. But that doesn't mean that you went through hell so that you can learn. I think the lessons that we end up learning are very easy to learn. We can learn these lessons without suffering. So I do have a problem that with the fact that sentient beings suffer in this world. But that's not really my biggest problem. And sometimes I don't really look at suffering as a problem. I'll explain why I don't really look at it as a problem. I'll tell you what the real problems are. Some people will say, yeah, I was able to grow because I suffered. Some people will say that suffering built character because, maybe they found a way to learn through suffering. Who am I to say to someone who has suffered and who feel like they should have suffered because suffering made them a better person? It's fine. If you believe that you can learn, you only learn through suffering, and the best way to learn is through suffering, cool. I'm not you. You are not me. Maybe that's how you learn, but that's not how I would like to learn. The biggest problems that I have with life in this room is that people are born here without their consent. That's the first problem that I have. The second problem that I have is that if a person reach a point where they feel like they don't want to be in this room anymore, as a collective, we feel like there's something wrong with them. My first problem is that each and every person that is born here was born without their consent. And I've explained to you that if you don't remember choosing to be here, you didn't choose to be here. Even if, and this is important to understand, even if they showed you a video where you were choosing to be here, it's not you who chose to be here. Once you lose your memories, you are not the same person. I want you to understand that. That is why some of y'all feel like you wouldn't have chosen to be here. Exactly. The vision of you that is experiencing life here wouldn't have chosen to be here. The vision of you, if we did choose to be here, like this spiritual teachers say, the vision of you that chose to be here is not you. So yes, the vision of you that chose to be here would have chosen to be here, but you didn't choose to be here. And you must respect yourself enough to not undermine your perspective, right? The way that you look at life. Don't never say, okay, my higher self chose for me to be here. That means I actually chose to be here. No, that's not what it means. You must take yourself seriously. You are conscious, right? Take yourself seriously because of that. You are actually conscious. You are having an experience. So it matters what you think. So if the vision of you that is experiencing this life doesn't like it here, then you didn't choose to be here. And even if it did like it here, it still wouldn't really mean that you chose to be here. What that will mean is that whatever vision of you chose for you to be here made the right choice. That's what it will mean. right? Every person that you meet in the street who doesn't know where they come from, who doesn't know what's going on, who doesn't remember anything about their past lives, they didn't choose to be here. And that's a problem. The second problem is that if a person ends up reaching a point where they're like, look, I've been here for a while. I don't really understand what's really going on. Oh, I do understand what's going on, whatever they say. But I would like to be assisted to leave this place. I'm not crazy. I'm not depressed. Even though some people who are depressed really make sense, but nah, I'm not really depressed. I'm not angry at anyone. I don't want anyone to suffer because of me. I'm just tired, or I just think my time here is over. I don't really feel like there's much to experience. Can I be assisted to leave? The fact that society feels like that's an illness fucks with me. It's like, I was watching I was watching videos on TikTok, and I came across a video of this lady saying, a lot of people don't understand, they blame people who choose to exit on their own, they don't understand that the people who exit on their own, they are not on the right mind, they're not on the right mind, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, maybe humans are just not the same. Now, I'm not saying, and this is very important to understand, I will never ever encourage anyone to leave, and I've been telling you all that I think you should use the time that you have here to learn. You're already strong enough to have survived for this long, and to even have, to have discovered this channel. That actually means that you've been strong, right? So why don't you try to learn as much as you can, try to prepare yourself for whatever is next. But it is not true that a person cannot choose to exit if they are thinking straight. Like, if a person chooses to exit, they're not thinking straight, right? Because if we, as a collective, wanted to judge any person who makes a choice, we will actually be able to criticize any person who makes a choice. If a person decides to get a divorce, we'll be like, well, this person doesn't really want a divorce, they only want a divorce because they're angry. You know how it's going to seem? It's going to seem like, yeah, that person doesn't really want a divorce. They want a divorce really because they're angry, and that's it. So they shouldn't actually be able to get a divorce because they're angry. You see? Nah, this person doesn't really want a divorce. They want a divorce because, well, they're insecure. You've won. You've made a person look insecure, so they don't qualify to get a divorce, right? Because they're insecure. Nah, this person doesn't really want a divorce. They just need time, We can actually make them see that getting a divorce is not a good. You've won. Like, you've already made that person small. Like, you've put up yourself above that person. Like, nah, you don't qualify to make a choice. You're angry. You don't qualify to make a choice. You didn't have enough time to think about it. You don't qualify to make a choice. You're just depressed. You don't qualify to make a choice. You're just anxious. That's it. You can't make any person look crazy for making a decision. No, you shouldn't get married. You're only getting married right now just because you're in love. That's it. But there will be time when you don't feel the feelings that you feel anymore, so you shouldn't get married. You see, you've already put yourself above that person. That person doesn't deserve to get married really because, well, they're just in love right now. They're just feeling all these emotions, and they think, hey, I love this person, but these feelings will fade away. And they'll end up realizing that they made a mistake. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can criticize any person for making any decision if you're going to use that logic. Yeah, a person is now choosing to exit because they're depressed. This person is choosing to exit because they lost their job. This person is choosing to exit because they're sad. This person is choosing to exit because they feel alone. Because, you know what I mean? Like, it is possible for a person to choose to exit because they really want to exit. Maybe, yes, that decision might have been influenced by the things that are happening in their lives, but still, every decision that we made is influenced by the things that are happening in our lives. So just because we're able to point to what made a person made a decision doesn't actually mean that that decision that was made was a bad decision, or they didn't really want to make the decision. You see? Again, I'm not saying people should choose to exit this realm. I've always been against people choosing to exit this realm on their own, and I'll tell you why. When they say that people who choose to exit this realm on their own are cowards, I don't agree with them, because I know why they say they are cowards. But I agree with them on another level. Like, let's just say you reach a point in your life where you're like, I want to exit this realm. You have friends, you have a family, you have people who care about you. You don't communicate with these people at all. You don't talk to these people, and then they find you hanging. Doesn't that like make you a coward in some way? Like, you didn't talk to them. You didn't say anything to them. They're all shocked. I do understand how a person can really feel that way. I've been there before. And I would have been a coward if I decided to go on with it without talking to my family. I'm not here today because I'm stronger than everyone, because I'm smarter than everyone. I'm here today because I was just lucky. I have been in a very dark place where, and I don't mean I'm lucky because I'm in this realm, but I mean I'm lucky to have not made that decision too early, because there was still so much to learn, you know. There was still so much that I can learn, and I've learned so much by sticking around, and I think I've prepared myself for whatever is coming. But I do believe that each and every conscious being should have the right to choose how long they want to be here. I think that is logical. Not to do it on their own, no. But to be able, like, to actually, like, for wherever they live, like their government say, you know what, we don't know what this place is, number one. We don't know what's going on inside people's minds, you know. I don't know what it's like to be another person. I only know what it's like to be me. Number two. Number three, I don't know what tomorrow holds for other people. I mean, even for myself, but I don't know what tomorrow holds for other people. Number four, because we don't know what this place is, we don't even know what the right decision is. Like, you don't know if you should, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know, you don't know if you, I don't even want to say it, but you don't know what the right decision is. You don't even know what to do, because you don't even know what this place is. Right? Number five. Because people who are here, I mean, it's logical to assume that they didn't choose to be here. Because they didn't choose to be here, are we right to say they must be here for as long as possible? Yes, we can say that some people are impulsive and they can make bad decisions because they're impulsive, and we should try to help these people. We should try to reason with these people. But can we come with can we come like up with a system that at least allows people to make the decisions that they want to make while we're helping them, without us being like, no, you can't make decision. If you can't make this decision, if you want to make decision, it means that there's something wrong with you, because that is not true. That's my problem. The problem is that is not true, because the way that we're treating life, and this is wrong. This is really wrong. Like I've been telling you, that my biggest problem is not suffering. If people want to be here and they're suffering and they want to suffer and they feel like that is meaningful, or they want to believe in God, they want to believe in Allah, whatever, they want to do what's being done here, it's fine. But imagine if we took 1 million people and put them on a new planet and said, hey, you got to be here. And some of them said, we don't want to be here. We want to leave. We don't like it here. Would we be right if we said they have a mental illness? They'll be like, we don't know where we'll go from here, but we don't like it here. Would we be right? Like, is that an honest way to think? Like, will we be thinking as honestly as possible? We say, yeah, you have a mental illness. Why don't you like it here? Look at this, look at that. You telling me that you don't like this? You don't like these trees, you don't like these plants, you don't like the food, you don't like to socialize here. You have a mental illness. But here's the thing, though. If we want to say that people have mental, like each and every person who feels like they don't like it here, they have a mental illness, what are we actually doing to help? Be like, yeah, I just want to talk to you and you'll be okay. Like, no, that's not helping. Are we giving these people free medicine if you feel like they need medicine, or they have to pay? Is therapy free, or they have to pay? And why do they have to pay if we are forcing them to be here? Like, let's be real. Like, I just want us to be real as a collective. Like I told you, if you feel like leaving, I encourage you to stay. I encourage you to fight, because I think you can grow and reach high levels of consciousness while you're here. And I think that is important, right? But we still need to be honest with ourselves and stop lying to ourselves. I hate it when people are lying to themselves. When people are not intellectually honest, I hate that with all my heart. And I know that I'm right. I know that what I'm saying on this video is true. It's either people are really, I don't know, like they're not thinking at a level that they need to think, and that sucks, because these are the people that we live with. And what I've realized is that a lot of people who are able to thrive in this realm are people who are not able to think deeply about things. That's why I've been encouraging y'all to try your best to be as confident as possible, to be as assertive as possible, to try to take over. Straight up, we need y'all. We need y'all on top. We can't be at the bottom, because we're letting people who are not conscious enough leaders, and that leads to suffering. The people that need to be game changers in this room, the people who need us to take us to the next level, are not doing anything because they're depressed. They've locked themselves in their rooms. They're crying. You see the problem? And the people who are not thinking at a high level, they're the ones who are taking over because they're taking the right actions. You see? But we need to be as honest as possible as a collective, so that we don't end up causing suffering for those who are right. Because if we are wrong, we're going to cause suffering for those who are right. And that's the problem. So if we put people on top who are not conscious enough to lead us, who are not even conscious enough to be making decisions for everyone, that's going to lead to suffering, period. You see? And that's one of the biggest reasons why some of the most intelligent people suffered when they were young. And I mean, they grow up suffering. Is because those who are on top are not as smart as they are. right? Those who are on top are not as smart as they are. Those who are on top are creating systems to only help those who are like them. They're not creating these systems to help the smart kids, those that are truly, truly smart. So those that are truly, truly smart don't fit in. So they grow up in this society, trying to figure out how to live, and they can't, they're all confused, and they become depressed, and they don't do anything because now they're depressed. When you're depressed, you don't even feel like doing anything. You see the problem? So we need y'all. Like, if you're conscious, you are needed. I actually need to wear my shades. Like, the ring light actually hurt my eyes, So I think if I'm wearing shades, it's actually better. I hope I don't look too bad. Like, it's cold today. It's actually cold. But we need to be honest as a collective. We lie to ourselves a lot, and that causes actually, if I'm not wearing any glasses, it's actually better. We need to be as honest as possible as a collective. We have hurt a lot of people because of the lies that we tell ourselves. And people will be like, you're playing God. If they legalize assistant, what I wanted to say, sucks that I can't even say it, but if they legalize that, there will be some people like, you're playing God. Like, nigga, that's not my God. That's your God. That's your delusion. Believe in that. It has nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real. Be delusional. I don't have a problem with you being delusional. I mean, even if you're not delusional, it's fine. Let's say your God exists. That's your God. That's not my God. Even if you think He created me, I don't think that nigga created me. I mean, we're not on the same level. I think I'm more conscious than your God. But you can continue to worship your God. It's fine. That has nothing to do with me. But it sucks if you think that there must be laws that are gonna affect me because of your beliefs in your own God. Do you see what the problem is now? It's like, no, worship your own God. Go to heaven. You don't even care about me. I mean, really, do you? Or you just want to recruit as many people as possible to believe in your God? That's what you truly care about, because you wouldn't even help me. Do you really help people? I mean, are churches actually helping people? How many poor people are in this planet? Are churches really helping these people? Or, I mean, even the members of their own churches, these people are not being helped. Like, if you're poor and you go to church, it doesn't matter how much money they're making, they're not going to help you. They don't give a shit. So do your own thing, have your own beliefs, have your own morality, have your own values. It's all good, but that shit shouldn't affect me. I'm not playing God because that God is not my God. That's your God. There's a reason why I don't pray when I sleep. I don't pray. Why? Because I don't believe in your God. I believe in me. I believe at my I believe in my level of consciousness, like whatever. Like, at my level of consciousness, I'll be able to protect myself from whatever. Like, I have something that protects me, and it's me at a level that maybe I don't really understand. That's it. That's what I believe. I'm not believing in some God and whatever. I don't. You can blame me all you want. I don't want to believe. I don't want to submit to anything that I don't even understand. Or I think all these gods are man-made. You see? And I don't believe that these gods were made up by people who are as conscious as I am. So I'm not gonna go down to their level so that I can be understood by people. Like, no, we're not the same. I must accept that we're not the same, and they must accept that we're not the same. Are we being honest? Or are we being delusional? Another thing that I've hated about this society is that somehow we seem to worship those who are operating at a certain level of consciousness. And we feel like everyone should be on that level of consciousness. If everyone is below that level of consciousness, or they're above that level of consciousness, there's something wrong with them. Like there's a line that you can't cross. There's a level of freedom that you're not supposed to reach as a human. But we're wrong. We're so wrong. I remember when Canada introduced the MAID program and people were complaining. I was so disappointed, bro. Like, I stopped feeling sorry for people. Like, I would see people going through hell and I would not feel sorry for them. But like, okay, fine. What are you actually against? What are you against when you say you're against the MAID program? Are you like, think about it. Like, if you want to be honest with yourself, are you not against autonomy? Because if you're against autonomy, that's a problem. That's a real problem. It's like, why am I against you being able to make your own decisions about your own life? If I am against that, am I not sick? Should I be looked at as a healthy-minded? Like, we need to be real here. And should I be looked at as a rational-minded individual? I'm against you having autonomy. How does your autonomy affect me? I'll be like, yo, the government is taking advantage of, like, fuck that. Maybe it's that government is taking advantage of your stupidity. Because how can you be against autonomy? How can you be against something that you don't understand? Like, no, live your life. Worship your Jesus. Go to church. Fast for 40 days. It's fine. I don't give a shit. You can fast for 40 days and maybe you don't even make it. I don't give a shit. It's your belief. But what about my belief? In fact, not even a belief. Like, what about my autonomy? What about how I view life? Yeah, you can make so much sense and these people still think you're crazy and they still feel like you don't qualify to make your own choices. It's like, no, maybe 99% of people don't qualify to make their own choices because they don't feel like they deserve to make their own choices. But some do feel like they deserve to make their own choices and they make a lot of sense. And there's a problem. There's a problem if you say, nah, you don't qualify. No human should qualify to make that choice. And they'll be like, well, a lot of people will be affected. And I'll be like, yo, a lot of people will be affected negatively because of what we're telling them. The truth is, every decision that you make will affect other people in a negative way. I remember when my ex left, bro. Not the one that beat my forehead and my finger. In 2018, I was dating this girl. At the time, I didn't look at love the way that I look at love now. Like, I believed in love at the time, bro. Like, I loved her with all my heart. Like, I just believed it was gonna work. I remember when she left, and I tried to get her back, and she just didn't want a nigga back. Like, this is the last woman, and that will be the last woman that I'll ever beg for anything, right? I begged that woman to come back to my life. But there's something that she said to me this other day when I was trying to reason with her. She said, if you love me, you'll need to let me go. Bruh, I'm telling you, I was in so much pain. I was sick, bruh. I could feel something here. I was sick. I lost a lot of weight because of that breakup. But because of those words, I was like, you know what? She's right. Because I'm forcing this person to be in my life and she seemed to have found happiness somewhere else. So am I right to force this person to be in my life really if I don't make her happy anymore? Am I right? So yeah, every decision that you make will affect some people in a negative way. But you need to be able to make decisions because some people will be affected in a negative way. Imagine if we live in a society that says divorce is a mental illness, it's caused by a mental illness. And that was believed because people are dumb as fuck. So they will believe that shit. I want you to understand this. Like, if 100 years ago, those who are in power said, there isn't a person who would want divorce unless they're crazy, everyone will believe. I mean, not everyone. Yeah, as smart people would be like, that's fucking nonsense. But they will say, each and every person, like, let's just say, they say, each and every person who wants divorce is mentally ill and they need treatment. A lot of people will believe that shit. Be like, no, there isn't a person who would want divorce, and if they're in their right mind. They only want divorce maybe because they're angry, maybe because they're anxious, maybe because they're insecure, maybe because they're depressed. But there isn't a person who actually wants divorce. So no one should be allowed by law to, get a divorce. So you find that people just divorce in ways that causes more suffering. You find that they're not getting assistance at all. Think about it. Do you honestly think that I'm wrong? Because it's the same thing that's happening. Now we're forcing people to, live in ways that actually cause suffering. And then we complain and we say it's mental. It's like, really? Or we're just not honest enough about what really makes people feel that way. And I need to say this because this is important. It is possible for someone who has mental issues to choose to live on their own. That is possible. It is possible for someone with mental illness to choose to divorce. And you find that they don't really have a good reason to divorce. This is a mental illness. That is possible. But that doesn't mean that each and every person who chooses a divorce has a mental illness. That doesn't mean that each and every person who feels like they don't want to be here anymore has a mental illness. We need to be honest about that as a collective. Back to the first problem. I said I do have other problems with this realm, but really my two biggest problems, just like two big problems that I have, is that people are brought here without their consent and they are not allowed to live, or to not necessarily live on their own, but they're not assisted to live. Consent is important. If we can't get consent from someone, and then we give them this kind of experience where all the things that we feel are bad can happen to them, are we thinking as honestly as possible? Listen, all the things that we are against as humans happen here. And I decide to bring someone here without their consent, and I believe that I've done them a favor. Like, let's think honestly, guys. Let's think honestly. Does that make sense? I didn't get consent from this person. I just grew up in a world where everyone is bringing people here, and I'm like, hey. And no one is blaming you for that. No one is blaming anyone for that. So everyone is cool doing that. We need to be honest with ourselves. I always tell people that anti-natalism is like the most honest way to think, the most honest way to look at life. This is not about hating the world, hating people. This is just the most honest way to look at life. Because if we're not honest, we're going to cause harm without even realizing that we're causing harm. We would find ourselves having children believing that we've done them a favor, and then treating them as if we've done them a favor. If I made a mistake and brought a child here, I would have to treat that child as if I owe them everything, because I brought them here. They didn't have a choice. I had a choice. They didn't. I brought them here. Should I treat them as if they were screaming somewhere saying they want to come here? Or should I treat them as if, I know they need me because I'm the one who brought them here? Growing up, when my friends had wives, they would be like, not wives, but their girlfriends would live with them. They'll be like, why don't you get a girlfriend too and live with her? And I'll be like, dude, my family is poor. We don't have much. Should I really bring someone? Like, the girls that I would get at the time, they were living in better families, really. So I'll be like, should I bring someone to live with me, bring someone into my miserable life? Even if that person loves me, that doesn't feel right. Like, I'm not happy living where I'm living right now, so I can't bring someone to live with me if I'm not happy living where I'm living. It would be great if I was having a great time, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm bringing you here. Let's have fun too. Let's have fun. And I want to have fun with you. But no, it's not like that. I try to make decisions out of honesty, not out of feelings like, oh, I feel this way, I feel that way. No, I want to be honest with myself so that I can make logical decisions that I can be able to justify. You see? We can't treat children as if they asked to be here. We can't treat anyone as if they asked to be here. Because that's how we treat people, bro. Be like, well, you here. Everyone who's here was born without their consent. We get that, but is that right? Shouldn't we do anything about that? Shouldn't we talk about that? Because that's a big deal. People are having an experience here. They didn't ask to have this experience. And now, we are forcing them to do a lot of things. We are forcing them to follow a lot of rules. We don't say, hey, look, you're here without your consent, do what you want. Eat whatever you want to eat. Get assistance from wherever you want to get assistance from. Go wherever you want to go. You're free. Nah. There's a lot of rules that people are supposed to follow. And everyone is confused. People don't know what to believe. They don't really know what to think. They don't even know how to feel. When people feel depressed, they feel guilty, be like, ish, maybe it's how I think. When people feel too happy, they'll be like, ish, but a lot of people are suffering. How do I feel happy in this kind of realm? How am I supposed to feel? What am I supposed to believe? Do I believe in Allah? Okay, let me believe in Allah. And then they debate with Christians and be like, ish, but this Jesus character, maybe he did die for my sins. Believe in Jesus and be like, ish, but how do I know that shit is true? I mean, think about it. Some dude dying and coming back to life. What doesn't that shit happen? Remember, we're evolving as people, as humans. We're evolving. If really Jesus existed in the past, we will actually be able to do the shit that he did, and there will be shit that we will be able to do now that's better than what he used to do. So why is it that we're not able to do any of the things that they considered miracles back then that he did? So now you become confused. Like, if you ask yourself real questions, you become confused. So really, is it good to put someone through this without their consent? Just because we can't get their consent. Just because we know that some people don't have a problem being here. Yes, it's true. Not everyone is going to have a problem being here. But what's also true is that not everyone who has a problem being here is going to say they have a problem being here. Because of how we were programmed to think as a collective. We are supposed to worship this realm, especially as we climb higher on social rankings, right? You keep on climbing higher. You reach a point where you have to worship this realm. You have to make people worship this realm. If you say something that sounds like you're saying there's something wrong with this realm, you get cancelled. If you don't get cancelled, those who are on top will be like, okay, this person shouldn't reach this level. So people are not honest. So you find that the people who are not able to think as honestly as possible, these are the people who are able to climb the social rankings and they get on top. Because those who are on top only want those kind of people on top. So it seems like those people are like the smartest that we have. You find that the people who are truly smart, the people who can really make things better, make things fair, they don't get on top because the gatekeepers don't want them on top. You see, it's one of the biggest problems. Some of you are thinking you're dumb and you're not. You are a superhuman, but you don't know you're a superhuman because those who are on top don't want you on top because they know what you're capable of. This reminds me of, I've told you about this series that I was watching. It's called Invincible. Even if you don't like animated TV shows, I'm telling you, you should watch Invincible. Like, it's dope. Like, it's really, really dope. There was this guy, the leader of the Viltrumites. His name is Thrag. I mean, we haven't reached that season, but in the comics, Thrag, like, they even shown him, like, in the series itself, like the series that I was watching. I think we're on season 4. So is it season 4? I think it's season 3 now. On season 4, I think they're gonna show Thrag. Like, everyone is waiting to see Thrag, and we all wanna know who's gonna voice Thrag. But Thrag realized that one of the people that he was leading was supposed to be the emperor. And he tried to, I think he ended up unaliving that person because of that. So that's how it is. Like, those who are on top know what you're capable of. They won't allow someone like you on top. That's why you gotta fight. That's why I told you on the video that I published yesterday, being nice won't really work for you. They know what you're capable of. Like, people who are on top know who deserves to be on top. Some of them are like, damn, how did I get on top while there's that person? Like, damn, they don't understand. It's because the system has been designed to only allow the fake people on top. Those who are not able to think honestly on top. You see? People have been trained since they were little to root for those who can't think correctly. You see, the real kings are not supposed to be kings here. That's the problem. So you must keep that in mind. We're causing a lot of suffering in this room because of our ignorance. And it does get to a point where it's hard to feel sorry for those who are ignorant. You're like it gets to a point where you really feel nothing for those who are ignorant. Because they don't think as honestly as possible, and they're part of the problem and don't even realize that they're part of the problem. Consent is really important. If you can't get consent from someone before you do something, don't pretend as if you got consent from them after doing it. That is illogical. And I think that everything that is wrong is everything that is illogical. That's it. Like, wrong equals to illogical. If we only did things that actually make sense, we would actually be doing good as a collective. But we don't do things that make sense. We don't think in a way that actually makes sense. And that brings a lot of problems. That brings suffering. It really does suck that as a collective we still do not value autonomy. We still judge people for wanting to be autonomous, even though we won't really be affected in a negative way. You know, I was thinking something the other day. I was like, really think about it. Let's say we did allow people who felt they were tired to, not necessarily to leave, but we assisted them to leave. Some of them will donate organs. Find out some people who need kidneys will be able to get kidneys without a problem. Like, isn't that a positive thing in society? Like, yeah, that's what a person wanted. Some people who have money be like, yeah, let me give my money away. Why not? If another person has $500,000 and be like, yeah, I want to help someone. They just select the person, be like, yeah, I want to help this person. Because this person still wants to do this. I don't. So why not help them? I don't care. I've had money all my life. This doesn't mean anything to me anymore. So I'm good. I'm going to help this person. I'm going to help these people. Isn't that beautiful? Because in the end, it will, all of us will go. So why are we obsessed with the idea that a person has to be here for as long as possible and they shouldn't have a choice on when they get to leave? And we believe in our hearts that that's a good thing. What makes that a good thing? I remember I gave this example 4 years ago. It's like, if we convince ourselves as a collective that a person shouldn't pee on their own, like you just decide now, okay, I need to pee, let me go and pee. Like, a person shouldn't have that right. And we believe as a collective that a person should just pee themselves. You find that you just end up peeing yourself. Like, that's a good thing. Like, wouldn't we be insane to think that? Society says, live your life until you die a horrible death. Until you become too old that you can't do anything. Your autonomy does not matter. You shouldn't be assisted if you ever reach a point where you say you want assistance. If you're going to do it on your own, and that's going to affect the people that you love, which sucks. And like I keep on telling you, don't do it. But I want you to understand that something isn't right, and maybe we need to be more open and more honest about these things, so that we'll make this world a better place. Sometimes we blame those who are on top, but I don't really think it's them. I think, because think about it, okay, Canada came up with this MAID program. It's not the people who are on top who are complaining or saying, no, that shouldn't be allowed. It's people right at the bottom who be like, yeah, they want to get rid of homeless people. They want to get rid of veterans. They want to get rid of poor people. They'll be like, okay, fine, they'll keep poor people around. What are they going to do next? Are they helping these poor people? Are you helping these poor people? Because you're going to say, yes, they're trying to get rid of them. Fine, but are you helping these poor people? Are you getting them what they want? Or you're going to end up keeping these poor people here and they suffer and you're not even helping them. You see them in the street, you ignore them. They want your help, you ignore them, but you're going to complain that Canada, what I mean? Let's think as honestly as possible. That's what I'm saying. Let's think as honestly as possible. Let us see what is true. I'm tired of people saying it's about perspective. It's not about perspective. Some people are just not thinking clearly for real. They will lose a debate with me completely. Bring Jordan Peterson, bring Elon, bring whoever. They will lose debate with me 100%. Because we lie to ourselves. We don't think as honestly as we should. And there's a reason why I call myself Benedictine the truth, because I'm honest. I'm able to be honest, and I realize that a lot of people are not actually able to be honest. And I've wondered why. Are they not honest because they're stupid? Are they not honest because they have an agenda? Like, are they incapable of being honest? Are they not able to go deep into their minds and see what is actually true? Like, what's going on? Why are people failing to be honest with themselves? I never understood that. Because for me, being honest is very easy. If I made a mistake, I'm able to see that I've made a mistake. Easily. 1 + 1 is 2. That's it. I told you that if we live in a world where it was impossible to prove that 1 + 1 is 2, there will be some people who will not believe that 1 + 1 is 2. Some will say 1 + 1 is 6. Some will say 1 + 1 is 10. And we'll be debating that, and we'll be confusing, and we'll be producing a lot of loosh. Like, there'll be a lot of suffering because people can't agree that 1 + 1 is 2, because it's impossible to prove that 1 + 1 is 2. That's why we disagree with one another as humans. But we can't say truth doesn't exist. Truth does exist. There is an honest way to think. And unfortunately, a lot of people are not able to think in a way that is honest. And that truly does lead to suffering. My eyes are really sensitive to light, yo. But yeah, thank you all guys. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel.